Alright. Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic, Lesson, Non-Classics. This is episode number 1678 and Doubleshot number 78? No, it's 84. Excuse me. It's 1684, Doubleshot number 1578. Now, I have one physical trade. I'm also going to talk about a digital trade. First up, it is Marvel vs. Loki. Yes, it has the very same cover image from the Loki guy who filled the Earth trade. Does not contain any issues of that particular series. Now, this book contained just a series of just random stuff related to Loki. Amazing Spider-Man 503 504, Journey to Mystery 626.1, Matera from Avengers 300, and Silver Surfer number 4. Now, I am not going to discuss the Amazing Spider-Man issues or the Journey to Mystery issue. I've discussed them in previous reviews. Let's talk about Avengers 300. That's simply put, the thing with that one is that it's basically Avengers number 1 told from Loki's perspective. That's simply what that book is. As for Silver Surfer 4, which came out prior to that, yes, this was released in 1968, while 300 was released back in the 1980s. Well, late 80s, mind you. Yes, 300 was noteworthy for being the third of a three-parter related to the Inferno tie-in, and had a new lineup of Avengers, which was mainly comprised of the Captain, aka Steve Rogers, Reed Richards, Susan Storm, Gilgamesh, and I believe Thor. That was the lineup, if I remember. Yeah, because the previous lineup had been disbanded, and it was basically a Quasar for 2 issues. Yep. But in the case of Silver Surfer 4, that's simply put like Silver Surfer meeting Loki for the first time. And it's a great story. It's pure classicness, done by Sal Buscema, who, by the way, his artwork in the 70s is not that good. The art style here, you read this, and you're like, wow, this is so similar to Jack Kirby's art style. Well, it was the 60s, what do you expect? But this book is just really good. It's mostly put just... You can kind of think of this book as basically Thor meeting Silver Surfer for the first time along with Loki. Yep. But it's a damn good one issue. Basically, just you could clearly see this issue as just basically Silver Surfer advertising the Thor comic. Yeah, that's simply put what the book is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like the Silver Surfer comic itself. And those 2 issues are actually pretty good. Now, like I said, I'm not discussing the rest of this trade because I've discussed it before. I'm going to give the Silver Surfer issue a 10 out of 10. The Avengers 300, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Just 2 really good stories. And like I said, the reason I'm discussing the 2 Amazing Spider-Man issues and the issue related to Journey to Mystery, because I discussed them already. Yep. Now. Alright, next I'm discussing Thunderbolts Classic Volume 2. Yep, I'll discuss Volume 3 in a later video. This book just contains, get this, Thunderbolts 6-14 and Heroes for Hire number 7. By the way, one of 3 trades to collect issues from the first volume for Heroes for Hire. And you're thinking, really? Yes, really. The other 2 trades are, I believe it was the Quicksilver trade, and it was also Shang-Chi. Yeah, I think that was it. It was a Shang-Chi trade that collected, I think it was the last couple issues of the book. Yeah, that was simply it that I could think of. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, in the case of these issues, mostly put basically, it's still done by the original creative team, Kurt Busiek and Mark Bagley. Kurt Busiek on the writing, Mark Bagley the artwork. Now, these guys do all the issues in this trade. The Here's For Hire issue is done by John Ostrander because he was writing the book at the time. Yeah, some of these issues is more stuff related. Of course, them finding out about Zemo, and mostly we also have these issues where the Fixer, who becomes Techno, sort of like this robotic character, and eventually by issue 10, yeah, so they deal with the threats of the Backspin. This is during a period of time when they were still at the Backspin. They were at the Backspin for a very brief period of time, like well into issue 10. So basically, they battle the elements of doom for the first couple issues. They still ride their V-Wing. I would think, though, because they got access to the Backspin, like, they would basically, in a way, build like a new transport for themselves. Nope, they don't do that at all. And by the way, they still have no money to finance their operations. Yep. At one point, they're captured, but they eventually do escape. And then they have Songbird battling them alone, with, of course, a guest appearance by, of all people, SpiderMan! Of course, SpiderMan's got to appear in this book. Basically, the reason why he's here, because the guest appearance here by Iron Fist, Luke Cage, the New Warriors, Daredevil, Darkhawk, a swordsman. It's not the original. I think it's one of the apostles from. I think it's God of the Counter Earth. So Thunderbolts, basically, you have Songbird dealing with the thing alone, and I think it's wrapped up with this issue here. Yep. And then we have issue 7, which is just a guest appearance by the Thunderbolts. My guess is the reason when I threw this in is because, and this is my personal theory, because Thunderbolts guest star in this issue, and plus also deals with what happened in issue number 8. That's simply put what this is. Yeah. So they threw this issue in here because why not? And basically it's them about a super Adaptoid. It's still a good issue. And then finally, issue 9. We had the Black Widow show up, no longer wearing her 90s attire, going back to her, 60s attire. Mostly it's the popular attire that people do like for her. And mostly put for this issue, just Black Widow taking on Thunderbolts for an issue. And try to have, and of course she thinks the Thunderbolts may be responsible for causing the Avengers and Fantastic Four disappearance, despite the fact they had nothing to do with that. Nope. They didn't. So we had sort of a retcon scene where the Avengers basically were attacked when they had their replacement members. Yeah, it's kind of detailing exactly what happened just after that. Though they do more of expansion of this, what happened between issues 16 and 17 of Avengers in a 4-part miniseries done by Mark Waid, which I thought was really good. Though they do, in fact, follow up with this storyline in a one-shot appearance by the villain of the issue. Yeah, and also, for some reason, Mark Bagley had this weird shot of having Black Widow shown from behind. Habits where part of her, it's a weird thing showing her rear end like this. Yeah, but that's how he drew it. Yeah, and then we have this comedy issue. And the issue 10 is when they had the public reveal that, oh yeah, the Thunderbolts are the masters of evil. Yes, in issue 10. Yep. So, we have Techno changing his appearance. Yep. Yep, and it's revealed about the whole thing that the Thunderbolts are actually mass evil. Hawkeye guest stars, but don't worry, I'll be back later. Then we have the Avengers. We have pretty much remaining superheroes basically going to take down the Thunderbolts because apparently they're trying to take over the world. And this is when when Zemo takes off his Citizen V costume and basically have it where Thunderbolts turn against him. And pretty much in the way, Zemo destroys Four Freedoms Plaza. Yep, destroys that building. Yep, he destroys it. After this building been around for over a decade. Yeah, first showed up when John Byrne was writing Fantastic Four, and it takes a different writer, Kurt Busiek, to destroy it. If I get a chance to meet Kurt Busiek, I'm going to ask him, why the heck did you have the Four Freedoms Plaza destroyed in Thunderbolts number 10? It's by far one of the strangest he made. So, their high-tech base they had since issue 6 is pretty much destroyed. Yep. Yeah, as for what happened to the site afterwards, well, pretty much the building was in ruins, and pretty much in a way, what was left of the building became part of, something related to Maximus the Mad. So yes, after a period of 12 years, yes. So after 12 years, the Max building is destroyed. Not Max, but the Fort Freeze Plaza, which I think was a pretty cool idea. It was a really tall skyscraper. And when I read about it, it was taller than the Max building and brought in the tenants who basically were in the Max building, had the people who had the higher rent on the bottom. Basically, people had the life leases on like just below where Fantastic Four headquarters. And Fantastic Four, simply put, basically had like the top like few floors basically serve as the base of operations for like a decade until Onslaught. Yep. Of course, the building's first appearance was in Fantastic Four 289, which is a John Byrne issue. Yep. That's when the building first showed up. And it wasn't officially opened until Fantastic Four Annual number 22. That's when pretty much in the way the building was opened. So after a period of about, I would say a few years maybe. Like, because officially opened like that very year, like not long afterwards, like not long after his first appearance. Yeah, so basically the Thunderbolts basically are on the run, and they're like this for quite a while. And with issue 11, the Avengers are back, so Thunderbolts don't need to have the fantastic base they had. Yep. So now we have pretty much in the way the Thunderbolts, aka Masters of Evil, well, this version anyways, that has their base on a frickin' space station. Yes, a space station. Which, here's the weird thing about this. Marvel has never really experimented with space stations that very much. You know, having a team, or at least hero or villain, have their headquarters on a space station. And you might be thinking, okay, what was the very first superhero team in Marvel Comics to have their base operations be a space station? The answer is the Secret Avengers with the lighthouse. That was the very first one they had. And villains, this is probably, you could say Thunderbolts with their little space station, but it's not around very long. Got to go back to Earth. Joe, aka Joystick, is not very happy with the fact people see Joe were in fact the Master of Evil. And so the Thunderbolts turn on Zemo, and I think like Songbird takes over the leadership of the team. The Avengers show up at the space station they have, and they have pretty much a big humongous brawl where you have the Thunderbolts battling the Avengers and Fantastic Four. Because they had just come back thanks to Heroes Return. And they have a massive brawl with them. And this brief little space station, which lasted for a couple issues. And of course, they have a fight with frickin' Iron Man in. Well, of course, they have Iron Man wear this attire. Because Kurt Busiek was writing Iron Man at this point. I'm sure my friend Edgar loves seeing this armor. I think this might be one of his favorite armors. Yes. So he battles them. We have this brief little scene here. We have Zemo and Captain America talking, where apparently it seems as though that Zemo has put behind him his grudge against Captain America. It took 20 years. Yeah, the whole thing that you'll have just a massive brawl. Which eventually has this little space station he had. There's a temporary base for a couple issues. And you have this other space station, which apparently is a U.S. space station. Yep. Yeah, I'm waiting for an ad at Best Buy, excuse me. Yep, so basically, right after issue 12, after to have a massive brawl, they pretty much don't go home. They go to space. Yep, they go to space. They go to an alien world. I mean, why not? It's not a bad idea. The Avengers have gone to space several times. Fantastic Four. So I guess Kurt Busiek's like, okay, let's send the Thunderbolts to space for a few issues. Not a bad idea. Yeah, and they about aliens for a few issues, and that's it. And then at the end of issue 14, they say go back to Earth, and that's it. Yep. Damn good set of issues. I give this one a 9.5 out of 10. Yep. So yeah, that's it for this particular review. I'm going to take a brief break for the reviews for a bit, just like put these reviews up, and rest my voice for a bit. And then we're back for 2 more videos. 2 more Comic Corners, that is. Yep. And one of these videos, the next one is going to be discussing a finale for a run that just wrapped up last year. And I have the final trade finally. Yep. Next video. Bye.